So this whole idea came about because I went to an antique shop in a small town and I found quite a lot of things I quite liked, including, for example, this hem marker, which I'm really happy about, this Norwegian Lilja, some buttons, and the main piece, which is this book, The Highlands, by Wardlock Co. It is an illustrated guidebook and it is from 1917/18. It's really, really cute. It's got all kinds of like interesting things in it. Cool old adverts, like this lady here. And it's got pop-up maps that are really cute. The most interesting thing I found about this book is that it's got both adverts and also like a directory of hotels in the Highlands. I was thinking it might be fun to go and see if these hotels are still there. So, for example, here's like a cute little drawing of the Waverley Hotel in Inverness. Now, if I'm gonna go to a 1918s hotel, I should probably wear a 1918 outfit, huh? You get me? I am going to be wearing a nice 1918 outfit and using this guidebook as a sort of guide for a little road trip around the Highlands. Let's look at the plan for my outfit. So, I am going to take inspiration from these end of World War I kind of outfits. Not quite into the 20s yet. I really don't like 20s silhouettes, so I'm gonna keep the more high-waisted ones as inspiration. So I'm gonna be making a blouse, and I'm wanting to make one of the ones with like the big colors. I'll put some guys up on screen so you can see. With it, I'm going to make a split skirt, I'm thinking, because I think that would be really cute and cool and I want one. But yeah, I'm going to be taking inspirations from some split skirts from the era. I'm thinking of using this nice bluey grey wool for the trousers, this white for the blouse, and then I've got some lace for the blouse. Oh, and buttons. So first up, we're doing the trousers, or the split skirt, or as the Americans call it, the secret pants. That means something else in the UK, so I'm not gonna be using that one. But I couldn't find a pattern that I personally really liked. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm going to be using a trousing pattern. I'm going to be using a trousers pattern from the Keystone jacket and dress cutter, and I'm going to draft up the trouser parts of the seams, and then I'm just going to extend the leg until it gets really big, and then I'm just going to pleat it to make it look nice. I think that's what I'm going to go for. I'm thinking I want maybe like a nice little like Swiss waist-esque waistband on it. We'll see. First off, let's do some drafting. I think there's a mistake in the drafting manual because I got to a certain point and the drafting just wasn't matching up. So I think that some of the measurements are supposed to be half waist instead of waist and half hip instead of hip, because otherwise the trousers would be double my hip size in the end, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. So basically I started doing that guy, and that's like huge on me. So basically the measurement for the difference didn't match up. So I've halved the measurements to see if that's gonna make up the correct angles and stuff, because right now I'm like real confused. But we'll see, we'll see. I won't know until I've like drafted it up, and then I'm gonna measure it again and we'll see how it goes. I think I've figured it out. I am going to make a mock-up of this one and see if it fits me, because my brain is so confused. But basically, I think some of the measurements were like double what they were supposed to be. And like there was supposed to be like a little note in there being like, this is a quarter instead of like half or whatever. I don't know, because this looks way more like a normal trouser size than this, right? Like this would be 2 times my waist, no, my hips. And the waist measurement that was here, I had to steal a bit to add on there, would have also been 2 times my waist. So good. I've tried to like, basically I've just halved all the measurements that I think looked double. So I've halved the size of the darts, and I halved the length of this line up here, because otherwise the seat of this would have been like all the way over there. So I think we're good. Lines seem to match up now. The only one I'm a little bit unsure about is this guy, but I think I might have figured it out, maybe. But we'll see. We'll just yeah, I'm gonna copy this onto another paper so that I can actually tell what's going on. And then I will make a mock-up in some fabric before I actually start altering the pattern and make it work. Right, so I've had some sleep, had a think, and I copied my absolute mess of pattern onto some paper. And it does look much more trouser-like now. So I think I am going to just cut out these patterns and make a toile. And we'll take it from there. I've tried on the toile, and I think I've done the drafting correctly, because they kind of fit. They're like a little bit loose around the back, but since it's going to be like a split skirt, I don't think that matters too much. It's just the actual crotch area that needs to be where it's supposed to be, so I don't go like pulling down my trousers all day or something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to alter the pattern now to make it more skirty, and I've marked down the middle of the pattern parallel to the side seam. So I want the side seams to be on straight because those are the ones that are going to be meeting. I've made a parallel line in the middle-ish, and I'm going to snip up here and take it out as much as I need. I'm also going to, instead of having the legs fitted, I've also just added a square here so that when I put the pattern down, I can continue it so that it's straight, so that it's not as fitted. That's better. Don't have to struggle as much. So I've cut out both the fronts and the backs, and I'm now going to stitch the backs together at the crotch seam and the fronts together at the crotch seam, and then I can sew the inside leg seam afterwards. So I've stitched the crotch seams and the inside leg, and now I am going to stitch the side seams. This is so pretty. Like the selvage edge is absolutely stunning. Anyways, I'm going to stitch the side seams. I'm going to stitch them up to about here, I think. Kind of arbitrary, circa hip measurement, because I'm going to do button closures at the sides, because that seems to be quite popular in the late 19 teens. So I really like the kind of pockets, but also the plackets of like the late 19 teens skirts. I'll put up some like references here, but I thought it would be nice to do like a mashup, so like a placket that is also a pocket, because I think that's kind of cute, and pockets are important. But I made this little guy, which is basically a test of how I want to make my pocket. So I've got like my little funky placket, my outside placket, and then the inside placket is connected to the pocket. And since I made one of these now, I could like figure out how I'm going to put it together before I start on the actual thing, so I don't have to unpick loads of stuff. I've got the split in the side split, and the first thing I'm going to do before I add the outside plackety bit on, I don't even know what to call it, the like pocket placket thingy. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this pocket fabric to one side, because it is easier to sew this one on first and then sew that one on. Otherwise, it's going to be awkward to sew this one in. So I'm going to sew it to one side, then sew the plackety, outsidey plackety bit on, and then I'm going to sew the rest of the pocket and the rest of the placket. So turning that guy over and pinning it nice and neatly. First, pin down. Now I just need to do the actual pocket. Okay, I think the button stand has to go in before the rest, yeah. Okay. So I've sewn in the button stand and I'm now going to basically create the pocket. I'm just folding that over. I had a little bit of, like, underlap, I guess is the word here, just so that like when the pocket is open, you know, you can see the same color, a little facing, if you will. I'm going to stitch the pocket shut on the bottom, use the inside of the pocket. So I'm just going to stitch the pocket lining to the button stand underneath the seams so that nothing falls out of the pocket there. And then I'm going to stitch this side too to close the bottom of the pocket. Now the pocket is in. However, I've still got a raw seam here. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay a little cotton tape just along here and stitch that down by hand just so there's no any raw seams. I'm going to be making like a little tack, a little triangle tack, just to kind of like strengthen the split here in the pocket, so that the pocket doesn't rip open. That would not be fun. And I'm just going to be making a little embroidery crow's foot here to protect that. So I'm just figuring out the waistband, and I think the waistband is going to be in two pieces. It's going to be a front and a back. Right. Okay, the back piece is just going to be a big rectangle, and then the front piece is going to be shaped. I'm going to make like the little kind of V shape in the front. Right, so I've pinned the waistband at the mid-back and at the side, and then I basically just need to pleat the rest to fit the waistband. So, front of the waistband. So I've just measured basically the width of the front of the waistband, and then I've marked here at the sides where it meets the back of the waistband on all sides, and then I've found the midpoint here. So basically what it's going to look like is it's going to be folded over like that, and then the front is going to have like a little kind of shape like that, I think. Just so I can see what's going on here. Okay, right, so now we just need to pleat all of this into the waistband. Oh, that makes a very small pleat there. Okay. Slightly smaller pleats on the other ones. measuring. What's that? Don't know her. I just sometimes think it looks nicer when you just fiddle about with it. You know, just make it work rather than make a pre-decided number work. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that looks much more even. I'm just adding some tarlatan to the waistband so that it has a little bit more stiffness to it. So I'm just folding over the waistband and ironing, and then I am stitching down the front part of the waistband just with a top stitch. And then we can move on to buttons. Which buttons I should choose. I was struggling to see if I wanted only small ones or only big ones, but I ended up doing a couple small ones and a couple big ones because they're quite nice. Look at these buttons. They're so nice. Basically, I can't be arsed hand doing the buttonholes because we're leaving in like 2 days and I haven't made the shirt yet, so yeah. Okay, hold on. There we go. Pockets. So, it definitely does fit, which is good. It's a little bit more like voluminous than I think was super common in this era. I feel a little bit like I'm a child wearing my dad's suit trousers. 3. Like there. Is that? Since my hem marker's just a little bit too low for me, I'm gonna have Sandy hold it. So it kind of defeats the purpose of being able to mark my hems without Sandy's help. But also it does mean he doesn't have to crawl on the floor. So, you know,
that's an upgrade.
That's a win. Okay, let's see. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna boop, boop. Did that? It made a mark. Oh no. Sure. I'm done. Nice. I'm now going to just do a little lining just around the hem just to kind of give that some shape. So I'm stitching basically right sides to right sides, so inside to outside. And then just bloop. So I'm just using the 1908 countryside blouse pattern that I've used in a previous video. I'm making this blouse the exact same way, just I am changing the colour to be a kind of sailor's colour. Basically I've just used the front of the bodice pattern, cut it off a little bit, and the yoke piece, and created a colour from those pieces. And then I've added insertion lace, and here I'm just hemming the collar so it's all nice and neat. And then I am just gathering everything, and it's going to be so ruffly and lacy. Alright, side seams. I'm gonna French seam these just the same as the other lace I made. And then French seam. I am going to fasten the collar to the neckline now, and the way I think I'm going to do it is that I'm going to sandwich the bodice in between the collar, so that's where it's going to get, and then I think that just goes in there. And I'm trying to catch both of the sides in this one seam. Cool. And then I'm gonna top stitch around. I think I'm gonna do this just all the way around the neckline. Yay, blouse finished! Like, in the nick of time. You can see here the sleeve and the collar, and the sleeve isn't quite finished. I'm going to be adding binding to the inside because the seam's all raw